Hi, my name is Spencer Hyatt. I'm here to talk about the CHS competencies. And the first one is communication. We all need to be effective communicators in our field. Um, I've seen in my field that communication is very important. Uh, the field that I am in is athletic training, and for those of you who don't know what athletic training is, it's sports medicine. So whenever someone gets hurt during a football game, you see all the guys run out there and look at the guy. Those are all athletic trainers and usually a doctor. So on to communication. Uh, we learned communication, I believe. The first time we learned it was in CHS 101. Where we talked about how the community needs to be able to communicate its problems so that the community can come together and try to fix this problem. The next time we learned it was health communications class. Now that's obvious. Health communications, we all had to do a project where we picked a group of people and one of the health risks that's in that group of people, and we had to formulate a program that communicated the problems and how to fix it in that community. So, for example, my project was on African American women of low socioeconomic standing and or status, not standing, and we chose heart disease because that is a big problem in that group. So what we had to do, we had to take all the knowledge we had about heart disease and the risk factors for it and what happens if you don't take care of your heart disease kind of thing. And we had to put that into a project where that could effectively communicate to this group of people because uh, we needed that problem needed to be delving into. So I'm having trouble talking tonight. I apologize. Uh, so what my group did was we list out all the health risks and everything, and they're all really scientific terms. So like, for example, sedentary lifestyle. We all know what a sedentary lifestyle includes. Well, we thought that most people of a low socioeconomic status would not know what sedentary lifestyle is. So instead of using sedentary lifestyle, we chose something along the lines of not active. You know, we didn't use such as scientific words as we would talking to another professional. Um, so in my field, communication is key. Uh, Athletes get hurt. We, as athletic trainers, need to be able to communicate to the athlete what is wrong, what is our plan of action, and answer any of the questions they have as the best to our ability. That being said, we also need to be able to talk with the athlete's coach, so the coach knows what's going on. So the coach can say, okay, I need to hold them out of this drill or that drill, or they can't play in next week's game or something like that. Then we need to talk to the strength and conditioning coaches and make sure they're on board. And they can say, okay, this player can't do, say the player has an injured shoulder. So the player can't do like bench press or shoulder press or something like that, but they can, do the leg press machine. They can go run. They can, work on their lower body while their upper body is injured. So this is kind of the thing that we as athletic trainers will communicate to other people. And if we don't know how to communicate effectively, then problems can arise. Like the athlete will not know what's going on, and they'll do something stupid, and they'll hurt themselves even more. So if we say, okay, you sprained your ankle, don't jog on it right now, the athlete goes, okay, I'm not going to jog on my ankle right now. But if we go, okay, you hurt your ankle, put some ice on it, we'll call it a day, the athlete's going to go, okay, cool, I might go jog tomorrow. And they start jogging on it, and it hurts, and then they come back all mad at you because you're like, you didn't say not to jog on it. So that's just, we need to be effective communicators. And I believe that CHS, I look back on the health communications class, I went, well, a lot of that class was common sense. It's like, oh, don't tell your athletes don't tell your patients they're about to die. Like, phrase it better than that. I thought a lot of it was common sense, but now that I look back at it, I was like, okay, yeah, I can see how health communications class was important, and that we all need to, kind of learn how to be effective communicators. We need to learn how to not use so many, scientific terms that people get confused on what we're talking about, especially like epidemiologists. Like, they need to be able to say this data means this, you know, that kind of thing. The next one on here is informatics. Yeah, infomatics, not informatics. That's not a word. Informatics. That is all about interpreting data, knowing what data means, that kind of thing. So we look at data all the time. Any of us should. All of us should leave the CHS program knowing how to read an article, knowing what numbers mean, knowing what graphs mean, knowing how to look at all this stuff. And I remember coming right in as a freshman 4 years ago, and being like, okay, you're gonna have me start reading professional articles. And I was, at first I struggled with it. I remember the first one I ever read was about ACLs, and I didn't know much. I just knew your ACL was in your knee, and a couple of my friends tore it, and that's all I knew. But now, thanks to my education, I can say, okay, this is this article is about ACL and the prevalence of this, this, and this, and I know how to read it. Really, I learned more about how information is gathered and interpreted in epidemiology, which is a class I've met not a lot of people who said, what, epidemiology is my favorite class. Yeah, I haven't met a lot of people who said that, but it was a good class. It was a good learning experience. I learned what data meant and how it's gathered, and the significance of things. I can now pull up an article and read it and understand it, and I can look at the data and say, okay, well, they say it was not significant, or they say, there's a positive correlation, there's a negative correlation. I can say, okay, if there's a positive relationship, I know that as one variable goes up, the other one goes up, or it's a negative correlation, one variable goes down and the other one goes up. So that kind of stuff. So I can understand that kind of thing. Right now I'm enrolled in exercise physiology, and we just got done looking at rank correlations for VO2 max and predicted VO2 max. And I did my first little exercise where I actually had to calculate a correlation between the two, and it was really interesting. It was hard to figure out for me. It's hard to figure it out at first, but eventually I got it, and I could say, okay, the data that we got was not significant. It was a positive, but it's a weak correlation. All that kind of stuff. So, it's just really interesting. The last thing I want to talk about, the last competency, is diversity and culture, learning about other people's culture and health. We learned a lot about this, a lot about different kind of healthcare and different kind of cultures in the healthcare class. I don't remember what it was called. It was like CHS 2 something. I think Mel taught it. I was in the combined class. It was Mel and another guy who is going to Stanford now, Stanford Medical School or something like that. He had his MBA. It was right when the new like Obamacare got passed, kind of thing. And the whole class was pretty much a big debate half the time, and another time we talked about different cultures and how they react to different kind of medicines, and we talked about the efficacy of Eastern medicine and what people thought of that, and it's just really interesting to learn about. In my field, I work with a bunch of different people from different backgrounds. I work with African Americans, I work with Caucasian guys, I work with Samoan guys, worked with a couple, other guys. So I get to see how different cultures and different beliefs, play into it, play into the health model. And it's just really interesting to see. Most of the guys are the same. If a guy gets injured, he wants to come back, and they're not going to be lazy. Most of them aren't going to be lazy about it, and are going to do everything they can to get back playing on the field. Especially in this internship with the football team, football is a sport where you get hurt left and right, and a lot of guys will come in, just to do maintenance work. I mean, I've seen a guy who, scores all the touchdowns on Saturday and then will come in Sunday and say, okay, I'm going to sit in the Colta because you guys said that was a good thing to do. But it's just interesting. Culture and diversity is a different thing, and I think CHS really prepares us to deal with different cultures, and we can say we can be more accepting of people who are like, no, I don't want to go to the doctor. I want to, go see if acupuncture has any effect for me. If the physical therapist isn't helping with my pain, maybe I should just go try acupuncture, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And that's up to that person's culture, and if they think that's a good idea. So overall, these first 3 competencies I think are very important, the most being communication. Communication is key. If you're not able to communicate with your patients or whoever, the public, if you're not able to do that, then you're not going to be effective in your field. That's that simple. All right, now off the competencies. For our field studies, I'd say our because there's 2 other girls that I'm working with, and we want to produce a video that will promote the internship we're currently in. I've been working this internship for a little bit or a while now, and the other 2 girls I've met there. So the internship is with the UNR football team, or I shouldn't say UNR football team. It's with the University of Nevada sports medicine team, with University of Nevada sports medicine staff. It covers all sports from track, baseball, basketball, men's and women's basketball, women's soccer. What else do we have? Volleyball is in there, and football. I work mainly with the football team, and it's been a really fun time. So what we want to do is make a video promoting this internship. We're going to actually have, we're going to do like an MTV Cribs style tour of the training room. Then we're going to show like a typical rehab program with one of us being the injured athletes. We're going to show how to tape an ankle. We're going to do all this kind of stuff, that shows why you should be in this internship. And then hopefully what I plan to do is take this video to a local high school. I'm from Reno, so I'm going to take it to my old high school and hopefully promote the internship before students even get here, because I know a lot of kids will see me in my sports medicine t-shirt like, oh, I didn't know Nevada had sports medicine kind of thing, and I really want to start promoting this internship so they can get as many kids in here as possible and hopefully set up a good learning environment for them as they did for me. So Sierra, Yoakum, and Jesse Felker and I have gotten together and talked about what we want to do with the video. We've met a few times. We're all 3 of us are really busy right now, and we've decided that we're going to start filming here in a little bit and start getting stuff together. So that's the update on our field studies. Thanks for watching. Again, my name is Spencer Hyatt, and I'll see you guys around. Peace.